The guest and only guest I have one-on-one today, I've known her now for well over 10 years. We seem to have a one-on-one with each other. She's called a global traditional worker and a conduit for the Holy Spirit. I'd like to welcome to the show Doreen South.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Great. I'm so glad to have you here today, and you know that.
Yeah, yes, it's nice to be back.
Yeah. Do you feel my vibes coming over to you?
I do.
Good, because we never lost each other because we always found each other.
We've always stayed in touch.
No matter what we ever did.
That's right, no matter how far I've moved away from.
Yeah. Doreen, I just by talking before we even started today, so many things I didn't know about you, and I want the viewing audience to know about you, but where did it all start?
Well, okay, I'll just very, very quickly. You know, in childhood, I had dreams that came true. I could see spirits. I called them ghosts. I was just a kid, you know, walking through the house. And it was very scary. It was very, very scary. I'd say I was about 15, 16 years old, I said to my 3 older sisters who were also gifted, I said, when I graduate from high school, I'm going to find somebody who understands this stuff. Little did I know that I was predicting an event that would actually come true. I graduated from high school. I was dating a fellow, a medical photographer back then. I worked at Children's Hospital of Buffalo. And his mother liked to visit a Christian spiritualist church.
Right.
Well, I was over at the house one day, and she had several of her mature adult women friends there. And it's like, come on, Doreen, you know, go with us. Well, I'm raised Roman Catholic, right? I never heard of a Christian spiritualist church. I got scared, and I said, I'm not going, and so they dared me. Then they double dared me. Oh my God! Then they triple dared me. Well, you're 18 and you're triple dared. What do you do?
Well, I do it.
I did it. I did it. So I went to this little church in Buffalo, New York, and it was packed. It was Medium's Day Sunday. I didn't know, but that's what it was. All the seats were filled except for the front pews. So this little old man of an usher sits me in the front pew, all by myself. I'm scared to death. So I'm a Virgo, I'm observant, I'm going to watch critically, right? And so I do. And I'm rather impressed. You know, there was hands-on healing. Then there was the sermon, the lecture, which was really, really down to earth and made a lot of sense. It's like information people can actually apply.
I know.
You know, there's no fear of anything kind of stuff going on. And then it came time for this message work. And Reverend Hooper came forward and she said hello to the congregation. And she looked around and she said, I'd like to speak to this young woman in the front row. Well, I'm looking around. I'm the only young woman in the front row, right? And she said, please say hello to me. So I said hello. And she began to channel my brother-in-law, who died in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And what he died of, you know, the suit that he was in, and what was unique about that is, yes, it was a pinstripe, but it was like a purpley orchid pin stripe. That's not just.
And she knew this.
She knew this. It was coming through her, right?
Right.
And so, you know, I'm pretty impressed. So what happened was I continued to go back. I didn't want messages. I wanted to know what was going on. So I continued to go. People left me alone. I would sit all the way in the back and I would just observe. After a few months, I went downstairs for coffee hour. People still left me alone, and I listened to the conversations. And then one day, I went up to a group with Reverend Wind, who was talking, and I started to ask some very serious questions about phenomena. And I got some very serious, understandable answers. And then I was chosen to sit in their discipline circles, training, both academic and practicum. And that was the start, 1969.
Oh my God.
1969, yeah.
Do you need a special ability to communicate with the spirits?
No. What I'd like you both to imagine is that you're a piano.
Okay.
You have all the keys. So you come into this world as pianos.
Right.
Some of your keys are connected and attuned. Some are connected and not attuned. Some need to get connected and attuned. So it's a different combination for everybody.
Okay, I understand.
Right?
Yeah.
And so because we're spirits living in a body, we're not the body, we're spirits living in a body, through a body, we have spirit capacities, which means we can attune to those that are no longer in the body.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Where'd you get your certification and your knowledge from for doing this? I mean, I realize it's a dream come true, and I say a dream come true. We'll talk about 1992, but
we will. Yes. Okay.
Not everybody can do this, can they?
Well, it's a lot of people want to do this,
Yes.
Ron. Many are called, few are chosen. I was called.
Yes.
And I went in kicking and screaming. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I want the corporate world. Give me the big paycheck, right?
Yeah.
And so I had the many years of study with Reverend Wood and Reverend Hooper.
Right.
And then I met up with a beautiful Mohawk woman named Diane Hill. And she had capacities that I didn't have, and I had capacities she didn't have, and we partnered.
Yeah.
And so with Diane mentoring me for about 7 years, the First Nations Technical Institute out of Tyendinaga, Ontario,
Yes.
then certified me as a traditional worker. Right.
Okay.
So I do have certifications in what I do.
You do a lot with the Aboriginal. I mean, they've call it so many different names now, First Nation and the whole bit. But
First Nations,
yeah, because
Indigenous people.
I had the occasion one time to go to a smoke room or a
Sweat lodge?
Yeah, and I was in awe, total awe when I felt like I had a whole cleansing of you name it. It was gone, but it gave you a very quick awakening of what life was really all about.
Yes.
And
it's a very sacred and safe
yes.
place.
Yes.
Sweat lodges, especially facilitated by the correct person.
Yes.
Right? They are very safe, and
Yeah.
they're very sacred, and they're very healing and
Yes.
very cleansing. You know what I liken it to? I liken it to going to confession, like at the
Yes.
Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Right? They're both small spaces. It's dark, right? With the sweat lodge, you're sitting
Yes.
on the ground.
Yes.
In the confessional, you're kneeling down, right? You have somebody to witness
Yeah.
what you're sharing,
Yeah.
right? You're unburdening, you're
Yes.
releasing, you're letting go.
Yeah. It's so true.
Right?
It is so true. And talking about it, I start thinking back to then, and yeah, you're so correct in what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What is good mind teachings?
Good mind teachings. This is Mohawk teachings.
Okay.
Right, and there's a whole medicine wheel thing that goes with it. So
Okay.
the medicine wheel has 4 quadrants. Right, in the east
Yeah.
is your spirit. So we come in through the eastern door. In the south is your feelings. In the west is the body.
Okay.
But in the north is mind. Now, mind has 3 parts, not 2. Most people know the conscious and the subconscious, but there's also a super conscious. Now, this is where the good mind teachings come in. The conscious mind just wants to be right. It wants to understand, it needs to be right.
Okay.
The subconscious is always seeking peace. The superconscious holds the truth. And it's your place of power, your spiritual power.
Right.
So the good mind teachings is power, peace, and righteousness.
Okay.
Right? So the superconscious is connected to your spirit. So you see how that's on this side of the medicine
Yeah.
wheel. The conscious is connected to the body. Right? You go
Right.
to sleep, your mind, the
Yeah.
conscious mind isn't working. Right? The subconscious mind, which is in the center,
Right.
holds memory, which is in alignment
Okay.
with the feelings in the southern quadrant.
Almost like a tree, isn't
Almost
it?
like a tree.
Yes.
That's right. But that filter
Yes.
of subconscious memory feelings,
Yes.
when you look at the circle, You have your spirit on this side of the filter, you have your body on this side of the filter. The more negative memories you have, the more negative feelings.
Right.
And this is what interferes with us.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So how can you have peace if you have all these negative memories and associated feelings, which come through what? The body.
Right. Makes a lot of sense.